Tonight, the battle over reopening America as the U.S. death toll surges to over 36,000. President Trump tweeting a call to, quote, liberate several states, encouraging protesters a day after saying governors would call the shots on lifting their own restrictions. A number of states extending their orders, others already easing them. In Florida, some beaches cleared to reopen. Also, the nightmare at nursing homes, severe staffing and equipment shortages, families not even told when their loved one has died. The potential breakthrough, an experimental treatment.
With all the medicine, I believe I won't even see my father again.
The drug said to have helped patients leave the hospital within days. The growing concerns over where your food comes from. Over 600 meatpacking workers in South Dakota now testing positive. A growing number of plants shutting down. Will it cause shortages at the store? And American heroes, the bus driver keeping the wheels rolling through personal tragedy. And the moving moment, the healthcare worker who spent 2 weeks on a ventilator. The cheers as he finally goes home.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. Remember that unity and resolve to bend the curve, to stay home and save lives? It's being tested tonight across an America still facing death on a staggering scale, over 36,000 so far. But also an America impatient to rebuild a crumbling economy, a restlessness stoked by the president today as governors across the country weigh their next steps. We've got it covered tonight, starting with Gabe Gutierrez.
Across the country, from offices to restaurants to air travel, a patchwork of plans to restart the economy.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We are not really even halfway through, even though we've hit the peak. State
by state, the rules are dizzying. From Georgia to Louisiana to Arizona, many have stay-at-home orders that expire on April 30th. Others, like New York and Connecticut, have already extended theirs through at least May 15th. Missouri's governor wants residents to go back to work on May 4th, but the mayors of St. Louis and Kansas City will keep their stay-at-home orders through mid-May at least.
We're just not putting an end date on it, but we are committing to reevaluating this continually.
From New Jersey to Minnesota today, new protests demanding an end to the shutdown. Today, beaches reopened in Jacksonville, Florida. In Texas, the governor started easing some restrictions on state parks and elective medical procedures, but said schools should stay closed for the rest of the academic year.
We must be guided by data and by doctors. We must put health and safety first.
A new poll finds that by a 2-to-1 margin, Americans are more concerned that social distancing restrictions will be rescinded too quickly than too slowly.
It frightens me to think of opening up areas of the city and then going backwards again.
Experts warn that to reopen the economy safely, there must be testing on an unprecedented scale. Here in New York, as new sites opened today, the governor issued an executive order directing all labs to coordinate with the state to ramp up testing.
This is mayhem. We need a coordinated approach between the federal government and the states.
And new research from Stanford University suggests that the number of people infected could be up to 85 times higher than the official count. The study found that up to 4% of those tested in one California county had COVID-19 antibodies.
And my head is just spinning.
23-year-old Matt Newey from Utah survived coronavirus. He's skeptical of easing restrictions.
I would say we really need to take this slow and be very cautious because, this could easily get out of hand again.
As America's death toll surpasses 36,000, today a moving tribute for Newark police officer Daniel Francis. He was just 51 years old. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, New York.
This is Peter Alexander after insisting governors would call the shots about lifting coronavirus restrictions in their states.
It's going to be up to the governors.
President Trump encouraging demonstrators using their own language, tweeting in all caps, liberate Michigan, Minnesota, and Virginia. All three battleground states have Democratic governors, and each has faced protests for their stay-at-home orders. The president asked about those conservative supporters Thursday.
They seem to be protesters that like me and respect this opinion, and my opinion is the same as just about all of the governors. They all want to open. Nobody wants to say shut, but they want to open safely. So do I.
President Trump notably silent after Mississippi's Republican governor today extended his state's stay-at-home order. One Democratic governor tonight calling the president's tweets unhinged, warning he's putting millions of people in danger of contracting the virus. The president also attacking New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, saying he should spend more time doing and less time complaining. Cuomo firing back.
He's sitting home watching TV. Maybe he should get up and go to work, right?
And after the president accused Cuomo of inflating New York's needs for emergency medical equipment, the governor said his requests were based on federal projections.
They were the president's projections.
Meanwhile, in Washington, no agreement on replenishing the government's small business loan program after $350 billion ran out in less than 2 weeks. At her boutique wine bar near Houston, Benita Billings laid off 8 of her 10 employees.
We went from having an income to nothing.
She hasn't gotten the $18,000 loan she needs to pay her staff.
That's what I would really love, for all of my employees to stay on payroll.
Among those who did get money, the high-end steakhouse Ruth's Chris, which made $42 million in profit last year, now receiving a $20 million loan.
And as for those direct payments from the federal government, millions of Americans began receiving them this week, but there have also been delays, mixed up payments, and some confusion. Lester?
And Peter, I know the president at a news conference this evening was talking about testing. What did he say?
Yeah, that's right. Amid criticism about the lack of widespread testing, the president earlier today tweeted that it's the states that need to step up. But public health experts say testing problems right now are largely the result of a vacuum at the top with no national testing strategy. Lester?
All right. Peter Alexander, thanks. And as we have reported extensively this week, this pandemic is taking an especially deadly toll on nursing homes, with many families fearing for the